Welcome to our second Champions Moment. We're really excited about having this opportunity to interview another champion in the community.
That's right. Champions are part of the Cheshire Medical Center Vision 2020 program. It is part of making Keene the healthiest community in the country.
That's right. Today we have the opportunity to interview champion Philip Hitchcock at the Keene Community Kitchen. I'm going to let him tell the title because it's pretty long. But he is a champion in all kinds. You'll learn today in all different manners. Hi, Phil.
Hi there. How are you?
So, title first.
I'm actually the Hot Meals Program Manager for the Community Kitchen Incorporated in Keene.
And now you live and work?
I was born and raised here in Keene. I went up to Southern California, continued school in Arizona, then continued in New York City, then went to the Berkshires and continued school under Abilene and Michio Kushi, who were kind of the founders of something called macrobiotics in the United States.
Just real quickly, describe as quick as you can the macro, and also when you were in school, were you in school to be training as a chef? I
went to California to do health and nutrition and take it further, and it started out, was licensed by the state of Arizona and California for an esthetician, and that's outside, taking care of the outside body, but then I wanted to also go deeper with food on the inside of the body. So macrobiotics is about energy. I went to school in New York City, and at the time was the only vegetarian vegan chef school in the entire United States.
Oh. Now, Phil, when did you become a Vision 2020 champion?
Well, I like to say that I became a Vision 2020 champion before the summit or any of the Vision 2020 championship even started, because I was doing this about a year and a half ago before the summit started at Keene State College, which I believe was in May of last year.
How's your training? How outside of here in California, Arizona, Massachusetts, New York, wherever it was, how did you bring that into here? Because it seems like it's a different type of philosophy.
It's a
healthier.
It's a different type of area. It's you know, Southern California is year round. There's crops that are produced twice a year. You know, up here we have New England and it's seasonal, which is a good time to tell you a little bit about macrobiotics, because macrobiotics means macro is bigger, biotics is life. So it basically means the bigger picture of life. And within that bigger picture of life, we have this small sliver that is food, which plays a very big part in us because we roughly do it 3 times a day. And macrobiotics is about the energetics of food. As a matter of fact, Luca Paris asked me to go on the radio show with him and describe and discuss energetics of food on his radio show. And the only example that I can give is we're here in New England, we're part of nature, and spring things bloom up, and then summer they're flourishing, and then fall the leaves fall and it's getting ready for winter, and wintertime everything lies dormant under the snow. So that's a cycle, and we already now are getting ready by doing our wood and our oil, and we're getting ready for winter. But when it comes to food, we go into a grocery store that has 35,000 items, and we just think that we can pick everything and anything that we want. Well, bananas don't grow in New England for a reason. It's regional. Bananas are tropical. And so the energy in a banana is very different than a burdock root or a carrot that grows in New England. One has strength, one doesn't. So macrobiotics is about how food falls onto a scale in energy and what it will do for your body. And if you have something like cancer and you're trying to heal, then there are certain foods you stay away from, and there are certain foods that are very beneficial to you. So I came on board to cook here as a guest chef, make a vegetarian meal for the public, because I do quite well to fool them, I guess you could say. And I did so successfully, and was asked to take over, run a Sunday brunch. And I eventually took over Sunday brunch, and I eventually took over the entire Hot Meals program and changed how we serve our public and what we serve our public.
Why did you decide to become a Vision 2020 champion?
Because I already was doing it here on a limited scale with the people that are coming in off the street, and I think that it needs to be announced to the entire city, county, state, and United States as far as I'm concerned. I think we need to get the idea out there of the energetics of food, or about eating healthy and hydrogenated oils, and out there as best we can. And I have a very limited market that I do that with here, and that's people that come in off the street to have a meal every single evening. And so I do about 37,000 meals here. But with our 4 programs at the Community Kitchen, we actually fed 976,400 meals last year. That's a lot of people we reach. I wanted to take it further.
What impact do you see the Champions program having on Cheshire County and the healthiest community in the nation, and also what you've seen from your work here so far?
Well, first of all, let me tell you that I brought somebody in from a camp in another town not too far from here. Wanted to come on because his son volunteers as a volunteer, a 16-year-old on Sunday brunch. And so I asked him to come on board to be a volunteer guest chef, and we ended up doing the Men Who Cook program that's put on every single year by Monadic Family Services. So he's a guest chef here, so he rode up, and this camp is owned by Waldorf out of Long Island, New York, and school, and so he did a write-up on it, and we ended up being in Iceland, New Zealand, Southern California, and Long Island, New York as a model soup kitchen on which you should take a look at and start implementing some of the things that we're doing here. So what impact do I think it should have is just that, exactly. What I'm doing here is what should be out there to feed the public who are immune compromised that come here to eat, and are the people that need the most nutrition as far as I'm concerned.
Part of the being a champion is to make the rest of the world champions, and to broadcast out to the public why it's important to be a champion. Who do you think should be champions?
Hands down, I believe that in the city of Keene, because this is New England and we eat very different than Southern California, that we really need to reach out to the restaurants. And the reason why I say that is I think if you go to a restaurant and they had one vegetarian and or one vegan, and I don't mean vegan because people don't want to deal with an animal situation, but vegan because here at the kitchen my experience is we have an awful lot of dairy allergic people, and when you go to vegetarian food, the number one thing they do is dairy, cheeses, milks, sour creams, cottage cheese, yogurts. And so even if you go to eat at a restaurant and it's a vegetarian deal, I in my case am allergic to dairy, would not be able to eat that dish. So I think restaurants need to come on board, put on an item, and hop on board and say Vision 2020, here's our item that we contribute that's healthy to people that want to come on board and eat.
Last question. I guess you're a teacher. You know, you're out there all the time teaching. I mean, you've had some work with First Course.
Yes.
And that's a culinary training program for training people to be in the food service industry. Can you just briefly talk about what that means?
Yeah, well, to me, I went over with Marion Melquist, who brings in all students into First Course, and I said, I really think that it would be a wonderful opportunity both for us and yourself to bring in your students and work under me 3 different days. The first day they work with me, and they just are by my side to see how it all works, so they get an understanding of the setup and things. I don't care how they cook. The second day we work together and we come up with a menu, we come up with a meal, and I let them oversee the volunteers and get them on projects. The third day I let them be a guest chef. So when they go back to school, they can put on their resume that they guest chefed while they were in school for the community kitchen and served 150 people. It's a feeling that you can't even imagine with them. They have tears. I step out there and watch them when they open up the line. They check all the volunteers and make sure they're gloved and hatted, name tagged and aproned, and say a smile for our guests. And then they say your line is open, and the people, I announce them and the people in line clap for them, and I've seen tears several times. So it's a really nice feeling to be able to take that and incorporate it here. This is a community kitchen, we're all working together.
Well, Philip, thank you for being a champion, and thank you for taking the time today to talk to us.
My pleasure.
Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
This has been another champion moment, and next month we'll have another champion.